Hello everyone, welcome to this video of class 9th Computer Application, Chapter 1, that is Computer System. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the following things. Number 1, we'll see the introduction of the computer, then we'll see the convergence of technology, then overview of the communication technologies, then after that we'll see the computer and its functional components of the computer system, then the CPU, that is the computer's brain. Then after that we'll see the characteristics of a computer, then types of computers. Let's begin with the introduction. As we know, computer plays an important role in the today's society, and it has been used in all the areas like research, engineering, simulation, then teaching, printing books, recreational games, etc. So let us know what is computer. We can understand the computer with its full form. The full form of computer is C stands for commonly, O for oriented, M for machine, P for particularly, U stands for use for, T for trade, E for education, and R for research. And combinedly we can define a computer as a commonly oriented machine, particularly used for trade, education, and research. There is another definition of the computer that a computer is an electronic device that works on the principle of taking input, processing it, and giving a meaningful result known as output. You can see this input, process, output. This is a basic principle how a computer works. Now let's understand the meaning of this input, process, and output. So input refers to the data or are raw facts and figures given to a computer, and this data can be text, alphabet, digits, symbols, images, videos, etc. Now secondly, the processing. A process or a processing simply means the manipulation of the data according to the given instruction by the users. And third is output. So output is simply the result obtained after the processing of the data by the computer system. And the output is also called information. We give data to the computer as an input, and the computer gives the output in the form of information. So there is a relation between data and information, that is, a processed data is called information and unprocessed information is called data. Now let's see the next topic, that is convergence of technologies. The meaning of convergence is merging or combining together of two or more things. So you can see this diagram. In this diagram, a cell phone consists of different features. So using this picture, we can say that convergence of technologies refers to a merging or combining of two or more technologies to form a new technology. In this 20th century, there are several number of examples for this convergence of technologies. And before that, let us see the different types or categories of convergence of technologies. Some major types of convergence of technologies are: number 1, computer technology; number 2, communication technology; number 3, information and communication technology; and number 4, content technology. Let's see one by one in detail. So as we know, there are four types of convergence of technologies, that is computer technology, communication technology, information and communication technology, and content technology. So let's see the first, computer technology. So computer technology includes all the hardware and softwares. It also involves all the associated technologies of the computer like the processor, operating system, memories, network, etc. Similarly, this communication technology includes the information transfer technology. That means the mediums through which we transfer the information from one system or one device to another device, that is communication media, that includes the wired or wireless media, as well as the internet, email, radio technologies, satellites, and the softwares for the communication, etc. So this is about communication technology. The next is information and communication technology. This information and communication technology, in short called ICT, it is a combination of two technologies, that is information technology and communication technology. It can also be referred as the convergence of technologies that provides access to the information through telecommunication. Now the next and the last is content technology. Content technology refers to the area or the field that caters to the content driven, like newspaper or a print media, television, radios, publishing industry, etc. So all the areas from where we get some information, that that is called content technology. It also includes 3D movies, real-time broadcasts such as live cricket match, etc. Now we'll see some overview of the communication technology. Nowadays, we see several number of communication technologies around us. Communication technologies are those technologies that ensures the fast and secure communication among the people from any part of the world. So let's see some common and popular communication technologies of the today's age. The number one is email. Email stands for electronic mail, that refers to a message sent from one computer to another computer over the internet. Second, the most important is the SMS. SMS stands for short message service, and it is a text messaging service that allows to send a message up to 160 characters to another device. And nowadays, this SMS facility is provided in almost all the cell phones by telecommunication services. Now, the third is video conferencing and chat services. This video conferencing and chat services comprises the technologies that are capable of simultaneous video and audio as well as the text for the communication between the people in a real time. There are certain examples of the video conferencing tools like Skype, Google Meet, MS Team, etc. Next is blog and wikis. A blog is an online journal or informational website displaying the information in reverse chronological order. Uh, that means the latest post appearing in the first at the top and the oldest at the bottom. So that this order is called the reverse chronological order. Blogs also provide the facility to its reader to comment over the information. Next is a wikis. Wikis refers to an easily edited set of one or more linked web pages that readers can add to or modify. This wikis facilitates the collaborative content creation like Wikipedia and MediaWiki. The example of the blogs we can understand with WordPress. So WordPress is one of the popular blogging platform, as well as the Google Blogger is another blogging platform. The next is microblogging. A microblogging refers to a combination of blogging and the instant messaging that allows the user to create short messages to be posted and shared with the audience online. Nowadays, there are so many microblogging platforms like Twitter is there, Instagram, WhatsApp. There are so many microblogging platforms are there. Now, one more important is the document and calendar sharing services. These both document and calendar sharing services are the online tools that allows for creation and sharing of the document and calendar online. Nowadays, we are using the Google Docs, as well as there are other platforms that provides the services to create documents online, as well as to create an event using the calendar tool, and we can share the calendar to somebody else and they can save the calendar date and time of the event. These are some common and popular communication technologies that are being used nowadays. Now let's move the next topic. Our next topic is computer and its functioning. A computer works with the help of one cycle. In that cycle, the first step is input. So input means data given to the computer, and that data can be a text, number, symbol, audios, videos, images, etc. Then this input goes to the second step, that is called a process, and process simply refers to the manipulation of data according to the given instruction in the input. Now after this process, the data transfers to the third step, that is called the output, and output is simply getting meaningful result. And this output again, if requires some input, is it again goes to the input step. This way these three steps goes on moving as the users give the instruction and get the output, and this makes a one complete cycle, and this cycle is called IPO cycle, that is input process output cycle. Now we'll see the working of a computer system, how a computer system works. When a computer system works, it mainly performs four functions. That is, it first accepts the data in the form of input. Second, it processes the data called the processing. Then it produces the result or output called output. And the fourth, it stores the result called storage. You can see this figure. In this figure, you can see there are different units that are responsible for performing these four tasks. There is an input unit. This input unit performs the input task. The CPU performs the processing task. The output performs the output part, and the secondary storage device that performs the storage task. So this way, there are the different components that are responsible for performing different function in the computer system. Now let us understand one by one all these units. Now let's see the functional components of the computer system. See this figure. In this figure, there are different components of the computer system shown. So basically there are two categories of the components. One is the basic components, including the keyboard, mouse, monitor, drives, CPU, hard disk, RAM, etc. And second category is the optional component, data, printer, scanner, modem, then DVD drive, speaker, etc. And these component parts are not so essential, and without that also we can work over the computer system, but basic components are very essential, and without that we cannot work over the computer system. Now let's see these functional components, and let's understand these functional components in more detail. The first is the input function. So input function is performed by the input unit that we have seen in previously. Input unit is responsible for providing the information, that is the data, to the computer. Input unit includes all the standard input devices like the keyboard, mouse, scanner, microphone, barcode reader, etc. The second is the processing. A processing function is performed by the CPU, and this CPU is responsible for carrying out the given instruction on the given data. So to carry out all the instructions, the CPU takes the help of the following components, and these components are ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit, and it is responsible for carrying out all the arithmetical instructions, including plus, minus, multiplication, division, as well as the greater than, less than, that is the comparison operators. The second is the CU, that is the control unit, and that is responsible for controlling the execution of the instruction, one instruction at a time. So it supervises and controls all the required components needed to carry out the instruction. And the third is the main memory, or called the primary memory, and it is responsible to store the data and instruction during the processing. Next is the output function. It is performed by the output unit. This output function, or this output unit, is responsible for displaying the data input to the computer, or the processed data, that is the result, in a human readable form. The output unit includes all the standard output devices like monitor, printer, speaker, projector, etc. Now the next is the storage. A storage function is performed by the storage unit, and this unit is responsible for storing any type of information permanently. The storage unit includes the devices like CD, DVD, hard disk, flash drive, etc. Now let's move to the next topic, that is the CPU. Now we'll see the working of this CPU, that is a computer's brain. CPU is called the computer's brain because it controls and directs the internal activities and the actions of a computer. The CPU is also called the microprocessor or simply called the processor. And CPU, as we have seen, the CPU consists of three basic sections, that is a control unit, LU, that is the arithmetic logic unit, and third registers. You can see this diagram. Under this diagram you can see this center part is a CPU that consists of three important things, that is a control unit, LU, and the registers. And all these three components are connected with the input, output, and storage devices. Now let's understand all these three sections of the CPU and how it works. So the three sections of the microprocessor are, that is a control unit. So control unit directs the entire computer system. CPU performs the following four steps in the execution of an instruction. That is, number one, the CPU gets the instruction from the memory. Number two, CPU decides what instructions mean. Accordingly, it directs the data to move from the memory to the LU. And in the third step, the LU performs the actual operation on the data. And after that, the fourth step, that is the result of the operation done by the LU, is stored in the memory or the registers. So in this four step, the first two steps, please note, the first two steps, that is the time taken to perform the first two steps, is called the instruction time, and the time taken to perform the last two steps, that is the steps by the LU and the result is stored in the memory. These two steps is called execution time. Okay, so combination of these two, that is instruction time and execution time, is called the machine cycle. Now let's see the second, that is the LU, arithmetic logic unit. This unit performs the computing function like arithmetic operations, which include the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. And second, it performs all the logical operations like comparison, less than, greater than, equals to, less than, equals to, not equals to, equals to, etc. The result of these operations are stored in the registers or in the memory or sent to the output devices. The third important component of this CPU is registers. All the data is temporarily stored in the registers during the execution of the program. These registers offers a very fast memory, but it has a very limited in size. So this is about the three sections of the microprocessor or the CPU. Now we'll see the characteristics of the computer. The characteristics of the computer can be determined by its strength and weakness. So let's understand the strength of the computer system. Basically, there are five important strengths of the computer system. That is a fast speed, high storage capacity, accuracy, reliability, and versatility. If we talk about the speed, computers are much faster as compared to the human being. A computer can perform millions of instructions in 1 second. So that's why we say computer is very fast, or it has a very fast speed. Second is a high storage capacity. The computer can store a large amount of information in a very small space. We can consider the example of the CD-ROM. A CD-ROM has a diameter of around 4.7 inch but can store the 33 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Similarly, we use the flash memory, or that is of memory sticks or pen drives, and uh, that's around 3 to 5 centimeter long. But such a small size can store up to the 4 GB data, or more than the 4 GB data. Nowadays, it is coming in a capacity of 16 GB, 32 GB, 64 GB. So we can imagine that how much data it can store. So that's why we say a computer have a very high storage capacity. Third is the accuracy. A computer can perform all the calculations and comparison accurately. It do not make a mistakes unless and until the user makes the mistakes while giving the instruction. Next is the reliability. Reliability, that is, a computer is immune to the tiredness and boredom or fatigue. That is, computer never get tired, and thus they are more reliable than the human beings. And the number fifth, the most important, that is the versatility. A computer can perform the repetitive job efficiently. So they can solve laborious problem, or we can say it can do hazardous jobs in a hostile environment. It can perform on a different types of data and information like graphics, audio, visual, characters, etc. So that is why a computer is a versatile in nature. Now, at the same time, there are some weaknesses of the computer, and some weaknesses of the computers are: number one, zero IQ; number two, lack of decision making power; and third, no heuristic. Zero IQ, or that means IQ zero, means a computer are dumb machine with zero IQ. They need to be told each and every step what to do and what not to do. Computer cannot think of its own. That's why it has zero IQ. The second is the lack of decision making power. It means a computer cannot decide of its own what to do and what not to do. So they do not possess this power, which is a great asset of the human beings. And the third is no heuristic. Here, heuristic means learning from the past experiences. If the computer commits an error once and similar situation occurs again, the computer will still commit the same error again. It means computer cannot learn from its past experiences. And this is another drawback, or we can say the weakness of the computer, that is a no heuristic. Now moving to the next topic, the last topic of this chapter, that is the types of computer. Let's understand the types of computer with the different categories. Computers are categorized on the basis of two, that is, number one, purpose-wise, and number two, principle of operation. Purpose-wise computers are categorized into two, that is, a special purpose computer, and number two, general purpose computer. A special purpose computer performs the specific task only, whereas general purpose computers are the computers that performs a variety of tasks depending upon the program given or instruction given to the computer. Now the second category, that is on the basis of the principle of operation, that is computers are categorized into three, that is analog computers, number two digital computers, and number three hybrid computers. Analog computers are those computers that works with the continuous physical quantities like voltage, temperature, current, etc. Second, that is a digital computers. Digital computers works with discontinuous data, or digital data that converted into in the form of 0 1. So the digital computers works on a binary numbers. And the third is hybrid computers. These hybrid computers is a combination of digital as well as the analog computers. Among these, we are using the digital computers, and among the purpose-wise computer, we are using the general purpose computer. So these digital computers are again categorized into five types. That is embedded computers, personal or desktop computers. Number three, mid-range servers or mini computers. Fourth is mainframe computers, and fifth is supercomputers. Let's see one by one. Embedded computers are in the form of tiny chips embedded within a circuits of another devices. The example of embedded computers are remote phones. The next type of digital computer is personal or desktop computers. These computers are also called the microcomputers because it has a single processor, or we can say it has a microprocessor. That's why a name is given microcomputers. The third category is the mid-range servers or mini computers. These mid-range servers are medium in size and used to host the programs and data for the small networks. These are large and more powerful than desktop computers. Now the third is, now the fourth is mainframe computers. Our mainframe computers are larger, more expensive and powerful than a mini computers. And this computer uses in a large organization like hospital, banks, universities, etc. Next is the supercomputers. A supercomputer is one of the powerful computer and the most expensive computer among all the digital computers. It has a several processor and due to which it can perform billions of instructions per second. Now, out of these five computers, we are using the personal computers, that is the desktop computers. And these desktop computers are again categorized into four categories. That is, number one, mobile or handheld computers. Number two, portable PCs. Number three, workstations. And number four, desktop computers. Mobile or handheld computers are very small in size so that they are easily transportable and can be held in a hand, but have some limitations, or it has some limited capabilities as compared to the other computers. Second is the portable PC. So portable PCs, they are also small, and these are said to be a smaller version of the desktop computers, and due to which they can be easily carried in a briefcase or a bag. The example of these portable PCs are the laptops, tablets, PDA, etc. Now the third is workstations. Workstations are similar to the portable PC and the desktop computers. These workstations are simply a PCs, that is the personal computers with the high capabilities, and these computers are used in a networks. The next is the desktop computers. Our desktop computers can fit on a desktop, and they are mainly suitable for the single user for operation like education, training, business, small businesses, then personal uses, etc. So desktop computers are widely used in banks and other offices where the single person is assigned to work on a single computer. Now this is all about the first chapter, that is computer system, and I hope you all have understood each and every topic. And if you have any query or if you have any suggestion, do write in a comment.